I'm Amanda and I like to cook, and I want to show you how you can just create dinner in the moment without needing a recipe. So welcome to my kitchen, where chaos is probably going to happen as I cook up a dinner. Tonight I'm making a everyday chicken Alfredo. And what do I mean by everyday chicken Alfredo? Well, chicken Alfredo for me is more of a special occasion dish because it's made with heavy cream. And if I was to eat dishes like that every night of the week, that would just be a little too high calorie for me. So I made this chicken Alfredo dish where it still uses real ingredients, but I lighten it up by not using cream. So by no means am I a health food channel, but I do like to kind of keep that kind of stuff in the back of my mind when I'm prepping my meals throughout the week. So, well, let's just get started and see how it goes. All right, so I like to start with sauteing some broccoli because I think broccoli goes really well in Alfredo, and it's just a good way to put a vegetable in that my kids like to eat. So I'm gonna get my pot hot. I prep as I go to try to get meals done quickly. So check, make sure the gas came on, and we're going to start with some olive oil. I need to refill this up, but we got enough for now. All right, so I like to just use scissors and cut the broccoli directly in the skillet. It seems to be a little bit neater that way for me. You can also cut off pieces of this, the stalk, but my family tends to avoid that. They don't like the stalks, and so I've just stopped cooking with them. Sometimes I will save things like that if I want to make a vegetable stock. Like the other night I cooked asparagus, and you don't really eat the ends of the asparagus because they're too tough. So if you just throw vegetable ends like that in a freezer bag, when you get enough vegetables, you can make a homemade chicken stock. I mean, not chicken stock, vegetable stock. All right, so I'm just chopping this up. We're definitely gonna need to add more oil. The broccoli will, the oil will kind of get down into the leaves and absorb pretty quickly. And I'm just cutting it up in the skillet to make a little bit smaller pieces. So they all look good. I'm going to season with some salt, some pepper, and I'm going to use garlic powder because if I use garlic, real fresh garlic, it would tend to burn at this step, and I don't want that. I'm going to grab a spoon. I never grab my spoons before I start cooking. Okay, my skillet is already very dry. All right, I've got some avocado oil, so we'll use that now. Doesn't really matter. Okay. Now, I actually want my broccoli to get some brown color because I'm going for almost like a grilled broccoli flavor. I don't want steamed broccoli. I want it to be nice and almost like if I roasted it, really. Okay. Man, it's very happy right now. I'm going to lower the temperature a little bit because when I prep as I go, I don't want it to cook faster than I'm ready for it to cook. So I'm actually putting it down on low. And I'm going to grab some chicken out of the refrigerator. Super excited. Chicken was on sale this week. All right, I'm going to take my chicken breast and fillet it. And now I got 2 pieces. And I'll show you why I'm going to do that later, because I'm actually going to kind of pan grill the chicken and get it nice and almost blackened, because I think it tastes good in the Alfredo that way. This one kind of came apart, but it's really not that big a deal. All right, I'm going to wash my hands. And check on my broccoli again. So I've got twin daughters, which I'm sure you will hear about ad nauseum on this channel. They're my pride and joys. They are identical, although Maddie has teal hair now. She likes to dye. She wants to dye it teal. Anyway, I took my daughter Izzy to Target today for some one-on-one mother-daughter shopping, and that was really fun. She's so typical teenager picky, like, oh no, Mom, this isn't right, this is ugly, you know. And you know, dressing rooms are closed right now, so we had to just kind of guess on what was her size, because they're growing like weeds. And okay, so I lowered the temperature a little too low. You don't hear that sizzling anymore. It's actually kind of starting to steam, but that's okay. We'll just raise it up and cook it for just a few more minutes, and then we'll pull it out. Right now, if I like, it'd be kind of crunchy, but after I make my sauce and everything, I'm going to put the broccoli back in, and it'll continue to simmer a little bit longer. Okay, I'm just thinking. So this is what I do. Every time I make this dish, I do things a little differently, because that's just how I roll. It depends on what mood I'm in, how I'm feeling, you know. So I wish I'd kind of spread those out before, but I didn't. So now I'm going to wash my hands again. And I'm going to season them up while the broccoli is going. So if you've got a teenage daughter, comment below. What are they into? My girls are artists. They draw like all day long. I've been trying to, it's funny, a lot of parents don't want 13-year-olds on social media, but I think it's important that they need to learn how to navigate social media. So since they both, that was garlic powder, and now I'm going to add some onion powder. I think it's important that they learn to navigate social media, so I've been encouraging them to start their own Instagram account so that they can put a portfolio of their artwork up. But neither one of them are very interested in that, so I'm not pushing them right now, but I just think it's funny. Maddie's like, Mom, those kids are begging their parents for Instagram, and you're like telling me I should do it. I'm like, what can I say? I think it'd be fun. Okay, so now I'm going to, I just got a whiff of pepper. I'm going to put the broccoli in a bowl. And I'm going to add some more avocado oil. Now this time I actually probably would grab the avocado oil on purpose, because avocado oil has a higher smoking point and is better for high temperature things like what I want to do right now. So this time I want it really hot, because basically I'm trying to pan grill this chicken off, and I want it to almost blacken, really, on purpose. So I seasoned one side, but I don't want to get my hands all chickeny, so I'm going to put them in the pan and then season the other side. Let's get that in, and it should sizzle like that. Now this piece is actually, you know, a little bit thicker, so I'm kind of getting to know the personality of my new stove, and I'm making sure to put the seasoned side down. This side gets hotter faster for some reason. I'm not sure. So I put that thicker piece on the side that gets hotter. So I'm going to add some salt. Again, some pepper. You literally can never have too much garlic in a recipe for me. Oh my gosh, that's a dish I haven't made in forever. 40 cloves chicken. Okay, I might have to do that one. My mom actually is the best at 40 cloves chicken. And then when you have leftovers of that and turn it into a chicken soup, heaven. One time I saw a recipe. So it's not that I don't use recipes. I love looking at recipes. I just read them, look at them, get the idea, and then I go off and do my own thing most of the time. Okay, so that kind of all went in one spot, so I'm kind of mushing it around here a little bit. I saw this recipe for roasted garlic soup, and that sounded really terrible to me. I'm like, okay, I found a dish that probably has too much garlic for my interest. Well, guess what? I made it. It was delicious. I only made it once though. It was like probably 10 years ago too. Okay. I'm just kind of pulling them over. So I don't use nonstick skillets. I just learned how to in I guess stainless steel skillet. When you are cooking a protein, like chicken, you get your skillet nice and hot, and when you put the chicken down in, you don't want to touch it and pull it. Like if I was to pull it right now, well, that one didn't, but sometimes if it sticks and doesn't want to pull up, don't touch it. That's going to tear and stick to your skillet. But what will happen is the proteins will get I'm having a hard time with words right now. It'll get the crust on it, really, is what you're looking for. And once it does that, it'll kind of release it from the pan, and then you can flip it. So, mine isn't doing that, but... And you don't want to flip it back and forth too much like I'm doing right now, because you need to give it time to get that brown color that we're looking for. So I've got it on high. I am going, it does not have to cook all the way through right now, because unlike some recipes where I would just use this chicken and go, I want this one, I'm going to put this back in the sauce at the end, and so it can finish cooking through a little bit. Alright, so I'm just going to let this cook, and I will show you what it looks like when it's got the color that I want. Okay, so the chicken has a little bit longer to go. It's almost there. But while it's finishing up, I want to cut up a bunch of garlic. I got a brand new cutting board out and a clean knife. And I peeled some garlic. I'm going to peel one more. Come on, garlic. Okay, and I'm going to cut off the end of the cloves because they look a little tough. Put them over here in my garbage pile. That going with the broccoli stock. Okay, I actually lowered the heat just a little bit because, again, I want my food to kind of wait on me. And I'm not quite ready to pull that chicken out because I need my cutting board, and I'm about to put the chicken on the cutting board. Alright, so I'm giving this a nice, fine-ish dice. Okay, most people probably want less garlic than that, but again, I love garlic, so I think that was like 5 or 6 cloves. Alright, I got a really nice big cutting board. I'm going to push my garlic over to a corner, and I'm going to pull out this chicken. Just kind of stack it up. Now, again, like this one, I don't think it's cooked all the way through yet. That's okay for this particular recipe. Oh, see, that's the color I'm looking for, really. Okay, for this recipe, it really doesn't matter. Okay, so let me show you. Actually, you can kind of see it. It might scare some people. It's really fine. You might have seen me do this trick in, oh gosh, what video was that? One of my more recent ones. Okay. Got it on, the flame's still going. I'm going to pour just a little bit of water and deglaze this skillet. Now, this actually makes a really good sauce. Well, this actually might have a little bit too much black in it to taste good. If I hadn't let it get quite that black, it probably would have been okay. But basically, for an Alfredo, I don't want a dark brown sauce like this. That would not be appealing for an Alfredo recipe, but I want to use the same skillet to make my sauce in. So I'm quickly just kind of deglazing and pulling up all those black bits as best I can. And I'll show you what happens in just a second. All right. Oh my gosh, that's like flavor. That's like so much flavor, really. But not for this recipe or meal. Okay. I'm gonna pour this in the sink. And voila, it's a lot better, but this is also one reason why a lot of times I grab my flat spoon. Let me show you. This one right here that has a flat edge, because then I can scrape it better. Okay, it doesn't have to be perfect because, you know, we're gonna keep cooking in this and it's not really gonna be that big a deal. All right, I'm gonna pour this water out. Now my skillet is, you know, pretty clean. It's good enough for what we're doing. Okay, I'm gonna lower the heat to like medium low, and I'm gonna add a plop of butter. Uh-oh. And actually this time I do want some olive oil, so, oh man, you can't see my face. I do want some olive oil, so I'm going to get a new bottle out of the pantry. And I'll fill up my cute little decanter later. All right, so I'm gonna put quite a bit. Again, this isn't like, you know, if you're a calorie counting person, this isn't gonna be a insanely low calorie dinner. I don't do calories, so I don't know, but I do know it's gonna be less than if I add heavy cream to the dish. So I'm gonna add all this chopped garlic. So this is my fancier version, okay? If I'm in a real hurry, I don't pre-cook the chicken. I'll chop it up really small, and then I'll start with this step. So I'll have a pile of raw chicken, and I'll have my garlic just chopped up, not cooked. And I'll start with this step. I'll make my sauce, then I'll add my raw chicken and my broccoli to the sauce, put a cover on it and let it simmer in the sauce, and it'll cook that way. And that's on a night where I don't want to sit here and babysit the stove, and it does its own thing. So, but this time I wanted to pre-cook the broccoli and the chicken, because now the chicken's got like extra flavor to it. And to me, it just makes, like, if you've been to a restaurant and you've ordered grilled chicken Alfredo, they cook the chicken separate and add it later. They don't cook it in a sauce. Okay. That's why my husband the other day, he's like, what if you run out of cooking ideas? And I'm like, but I can do some of the same recipes multiple ways. All right, I'm gonna get some flour. strain up and actually make our sauce. So probably about a quarter cup-ish. And you want to get all the white part out of the flour. And you don't want it to get too much color because, again, Alfredo sauces are usually white. Now mine's not going to be completely white because this isn't really an authentic recipe. Okay, I'm going to grab some chicken stock before that gets dark. And add it in. Okay, I'm just adding a little bit. I'm going to work this flour and then add a little bit more. If I add it all in at once, sometimes it's harder to work the flour in. Okay. Don't worry, we're not done. I'm going to get some more chicken stock. So I have two kinds. Like this one is a chicken bone broth, and this one is just free-range chicken broth. The bone broth one is a darker color, and since Alfredo's, again, we're trying to keep the sauce kind of light. I've got the, go down to low here. I'm going with the lighter color chicken broth. So I used to make my own chicken broth by myself. Not by myself, like I made it homemade. Every time I didn't buy store-bought chicken broth. One, it's amazingly cheap to make your own chicken broth. And second, it's so tasty. It just takes time because it simmers on the stove like overnight to do it. But nowadays they're making, you know, really nice chicken broth. They're not adding MSG. Whenever I shop, I try to avoid products that have high fructose corn syrup, MSG, unfermented soy, and I don't know, one or two things. Okay, now I'm really lumpy right here, so I'm gonna grab a whisk. I like this really small one because it kind of gets in there, and we're gonna break up these lumps. I might have put a little too much flour, but that's okay. Okay, I haven't added salt or pepper to this yet, so I'm going to add some salt, add some pepper. Got a tickle in my throat. And then, excuse me, I'm going to add a little bit of whole milk. So instead of, well, okay, maybe a lot of it. Instead of heavy cream, I still like to use whole milk. But and then a lot of grated Parmesan. Let me whisk this in first. Excuse me, man. So apparently today, okay, I need to turn up the heat because it's not incorporated. Apparently today is Groundhog's Day. I didn't even think about that this morning. And I guess he saw a shadow, so let's just have more winter. This has been a very mild winter in the Pacific Northwest. We've had a lot of rain, which is, you know, normal. But we haven't really gotten very cold yet. I was really kind of hoping for a snow day. We don't get snow that much. We are in a temperate rainforest, I think, in the Portland area. Okay, this will get thicker, but right now I just want to taste it. Okay, that's pretty good. Needs a little bit more salt. And then we're going to add the cheese. So I like freshly grated Parmesan cheese the best, but I bought this one last time, and so we're going to use it. Okay, whisk this in to get it melted. I'm going to turn the heat back up, and then we'll give it another taste. Oh, it's looking good, guys. So behind this pot, what you can't see on the camera, I've got a big pot of water coming up to a boil, and I'm going to add some pasta to that. And then we'll have some noodles to go under our chicken Alfredo. So really, to make this authentic, instead of adding the chicken stock and whole milk, I would have just added this much heavy cream to the dish. But instead, I bulked it out with the chicken stock and then just added a little bit of whole milk. I mean, you can try it with skim milk. I don't like skim milk at all. We actually drink raw milk. Yeah, we actually drink raw milk, but whenever I'm cooking, because, you know, raw milk, I use pasteurized milk. Just because raw milk in the Pacific Northwest is extremely expensive. So I'm not going to cook with it. I use it when we make smoothies and do raw stuff. Okay, I added a little bit more pepper. That was so good. It's so good. Okay. Now, it's at a really good consistency. If it was too thin, you could add some more chicken stock or some more milk. If it was too, so that was, you know, if it's too thick, add some more liquid. If it's too thick, no, I can't talk. If it's too thick, add more liquid. If it is too thin, then what you're gonna do is get a bowl, a separate bowl, add some more flour to it, add cold chicken stock to that. Whisk that till you get something called a slurry. Then you can add that to your hot liquid and it will thicken up. If you add flour to a hot liquid, it will clump. So don't do that. All right, now what I'm gonna do is cut this chicken and go ahead and put it in the sauce. Now, two things, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off actually for now. If your chicken is cooked all the way through, you can save it to the side and just serve it with the pasta dish at the end. That will make your sauce stay a nicer white color. Because if I add this to it and stir it a bunch, this color is going to leak off into the sauce and it won't be quite as pretty. But if you were kind of going fast and your chicken isn't all the way cooked, like this one is almost there, but it's not quite all the way cooked, I'm going to go ahead and put it back into the sauce and it will continue on cooking a little bit. And yeah, it'll color my sauce up, but I'll kind of also like poach the chicken, and I mean, it's all just good flavor, right? And then that way I was able to go just a little bit faster. This chicken's almost all the way cooked, by the way. Just a little bit extra in this hot sauce to do some little carryover cooking time. So if I was doing a dish that I wasn't trying to keep the white sauce, I would pour all this into it and give you extra flavor. All right, so just cubed up my chicken, and then wipe off my hand, and add my broccoli. And stir this to get everything nice and coated. Right now my stove is off. It's just carryover heat from, because my chicken was pretty much done. If your chicken was still a little too pink, you would maybe put it on low and then put a lid on it. And I'm going to drop some noodles in here, let those cook, and I'll show you what it all looks like when it's done. If you enjoyed watching and listened to me visit, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Right now I'm trying to upload a bunch of videos all at once so that you can kind of see what my channel is about. I really enjoy cooking and I really enjoy teaching, and I just want to share, the things that I've learned over the years and, help you untether from recipes and create unique meals in the moment. Watson, seriously. I know. Okay.
Watson, sit.
All right, here's me trying to film this last shot of my chicken Alfredo with broccoli as my dog is going crazy. But here we go. Here it is. Enjoy, guys, and I will see you soon.